Hello, dear chess friends. Just finished the course that I was recording for the Chessable Masters. It was part of this Magnus Carlsen Tour and Chessable Masters. As you know, it's still going on. And yeah, it wasn't easy. It was 100 checkmates, but different types and a lot of calculation to be done. So very happy to do that course. I feel strong now. Feel that I see more mates than before. And this is not the main subject of the video. The main subject of the video is the game against Maxime Vachier from the Chessable Masters. I'm thinking of making two videos in one day in general to be able to finish the games before the crucial part of the tournament starts. And now I will go on with the game against Vachier. We'll finish with my games and then pick up some games, as I told you, from the tournament. So yeah, let's start now with the game. I'll just show you fast the moments. It wasn't a super exciting game, but there was a super exciting endgame. I mean, all in all, it was not a great game, special game that I would be kind of happy about, but this kind of games are very important sometimes for your mood, for the tournament situation, for, you know, getting in shape and so on. Here we had to calculate a lot, both of us, and it wasn't easy at all, and the nice end game arose. So let me show you what happened in the game, and then after you look this video, I on my own will move to looking all of my other games, analyzing them. Especially I'm sure that most of you who saw this game will be happy to see the game against Caruana, and I will also be happy to do it. Actually, both games were very interesting, and one of them was very instructive with the endgame rook plus bishop against the rook. I clearly knew how to make a draw, but somehow I just lost my nerve there, and it's very hard to defend these positions, you know, on the seconds. So I just lost my concentration because it was like around 16 moves to make it until it's 50 moves draw, 50 moves rule draw, and yeah, and I also will see all the other games, maybe some nice moments or nice analytical stuff that I will find out during the analysis. So now let's see fast what happened in the game against Vachier. And it's kind of an instructive end game, and the way you should play with your king and rook while you're trying to stop the passers. And in this case, I couldn't do it because I was playing on the seconds, but it doesn't mean anything, because sometimes on the seconds we can do pretty amazing stuff, as you know, even in bullet games, but especially in blitz games and so on. So in this case, I'm very unhappy about the final result of the game, of course. I feel that I had a chance to win. At the same time, the chance arose because Vachier was playing, you know, kind of game where he wanted to win, I guess, to complicate matters at least, and try to win the game, probably because I lost the first one, and he was in the mood to fight. So probably he was kind of provoking as well. So let's see what happened. And today I will use the Chess board. Before I was using chess.com and the chess24 boards. Now I will use Chess board, and I'll be this time the other side of the screen, and let's see how it works. And please comment on that and tell me what you think about it. So let's start with the game. Okay, I was playing white. I lost the first game to Nepomniachtchi that I've seen with, in the previous video. So let's see what happened. I went d4, d5. Oh, sorry, I didn't go d4 in this one. Sorry. Yeah, I went knight f3, d5, d4, knight f6, c4, c6, e3. One of the main lines of the system. Another one is knight c3. It's instead of this knight c3, it's allowing d takes c4 as well, and also the main lines with e6. But here bishop f5 is not the best move because c takes d5 and queen b3 and all those threats. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so I went e3 line, kind of possible way. So bishop f5, it's the main. Usually white goes here for knight c3, e6, and then white starts to play with knight h4. after bishop retreats somewhere like e4, g4, or even g6, white can play for queen b3, and in some cases they play f3, knight takes g6, bishop d2. There are a lot of games. There are some games from the recent candidates tournament and so on. So it's kind of a main line. Certainly the best move is knight h4 here, and white tries to pretend on advantage of bishop pair, two bishops, and trying to complicate matters in the center, having their chances with of course black having their counterplay as well. So this is the main move. So let's see. I was just in the mood to play something just playable. Certainly it's not the best move, and I do not recommend it for you to play this bishop e2. So he went bishop e7, which is also a possibility. Many moves, knight bd7 is possible as well. So castle short, knight bd7, knight h4, trying to take the bishop finally. Bishop e4, f3, bishop g6, queen b3. Yeah, and here after queen b3, queen c7. Maybe already I had to take on g4, g6 and play g3, like play like this, takes, and g3 and king g2. But I didn't want to open the h file so fast. That's why instead I went bishop d2. But this is, you know, okay. Another possibility maybe was to play just here instead of knight g6, was to play this, take. And again g3, then king g2. White is kind of having a normal position. They want to play e4 at some point. Maybe slight plus for white, but slight. Black is also quite fine. So instead of this, I went bishop d2, which is not the right way to play this. So of course, a good tactical player and a top player, Maxime Vachier, he decides to go for knight g4. Here's the best move. Knight g4, f takes g4. And now of course bishop takes h4. So my best option here, as I saw with the compy, would be to play c takes d5, and after c takes d5, so and after e takes d5, to go e4. Yeah, it's kind of tricky idea to catch the bishop on h4. Actually, black can just take, and after g5, with the ideas of bishop f4 and g3, black can even ignore it and go castle short. Just castle short is possible, and now white has to make a draw with g3, which would be the best, objectively best option for white, and for both sides in general. It would be a drawish position simply. Black can also go after g5 some h6, trying to play on, maybe. But I don't think they should, you know, play this kind of risky stuff. I'm not sure it's good, so takes. Maybe some bishop f6 or castle short. I mean, but this is slightly better for white. I don't like it for black. I don't think they should play for this. I mean, they're having strange pawn on e4. White can also go bishop f4 and d5 somewhere. No, I don't like it. I don't think it's kind of best option. So the best option is to play castle short and take on g3, force the draw. So I think that's the best option. So instead of this, after bishop takes h4, I went rook a c1, queen b6, another good move, classical, exchanging the queens here. Black is not really risking anything. The white's pawn structure is spoiled. The pawn on g4, even though it may seem kind of you know, aggressive the way it looks there, because g3, some h4 and stuff like that, but black will just meet all of this with h6, and the bishop will always move to h7, and you know, the structure is there forever. So black can improve their bishop, but the structure cannot be improved at once. So after queen b6, I decided that it's time to change the bishops and generally play for the equality here. And I was not too ambitious already at the moment. I just saw that I mean, I should keep my weaknesses here, just play for a normal kind of things, you know, to play classically, just trying to defend you know, all of the threats against e3 and so on. Was expecting bishop g5 here, so it is the best move, and it's actually the best move, bishop g5. Then maybe black can go for h6 and then move the bishop on to e7, then castle short. They're completely fine. I mean, they're also fine after bishop takes e1, but I think it's kind of inaccuracy. I think that shouldn't be played for black. what for to exchange this bishop that can be more active there on g5 or e7 or whatever with such a weakness on e3. But okay, bishop takes e1 was played. Please don't forget it's a rapid games, it's not a classical chess that we're looking at, so there is also a place for fun and fight and everything all together, so we shouldn't judge the players for not making, you know, the critical decisions and some deep kind of stuff. So castle short, h3, rook a8. So in general, he prepares for some e5, f5 in the future, maybe taking on c4, then e5, f5 somewhere. I took the queen, so that in endgames my position is easier to play. a4. Interesting move in general. I'm kind of fixing the structure on the queen's flank. Now black can't go d takes c4 and b5, so that would be their intention, maybe to play like here, d takes c4, then b5 and knight b6, so on. So a4, knight f6, b3, knight f4. Generally playing for equality here, I think already. Bishop takes c4, maybe thinking that some chances can arise after f5 and e5, possibly. I went bishop f3, I think is right. f5, g5. Of course, we're not opening the lines for the rooks and not making the structure better. This or takes and then rook takes f5 or whatever. I mean, black is just completely fine here. So I saw that g5 at least keeps some kind of play. So g5, king f7, king f2. Black could go for king g6, then play h6, just, you know, kind of change the pawns and get a normal play with king f6, rook g8. Just a playable position around equality. Yeah, so I went king f2, king e7, king g3, trying to activate at least one piece per game. King d6, h4, supporting the pawn on g5 so that it's not kind of vulnerable after h6. Even though after h6 anyway, I've played king f4, maybe it was possible to play king f4 immediately, more or less same. So h takes g5, king takes g5 because I didn't want to spoil the structure after h takes g5. Compy, on the other hand, says that the h takes g5 is just fine. I mean, black should go for c5, but if black just goes for, say, after rook h8, I mean, if they go rook h8, let's say here, maybe this is the way, this, putting the king on e5, stands very strongly there. Then rook comes from h1. I mean, there are even chances, some slight chances to complicate matters for white. Black should be kind of playing a great game here like this, and then takes, and this, you know, some kind of beauties. Then rook ef8 and all that stuff. I mean, maybe it's too much to expect for the rapid game, such kind of calculations in general, just so king g5 is much safer here. There is no need to play for this, only white is risking, so rook f6, protecting against king, coming to g6. Bishop takes e4, spoiling the structure for black, f takes e4, rook f1. Compy suggests that the best move here is c takes d5, trying to determine the structure in the center, be clear what everyone is doing, and otherwise it's always like d takes e4, c5 and all that stuff, and you know, you are not sure when to take on d5, but I think this was the good moment. So c takes d5. After e takes d5, white can go generally both b4. King will always be supported by g4, cannot be attacked. White is slightly better, nothing much. In general, Compy shows that c takes d5 is just enough, or maybe, sorry, rook f5 immediately. Just king g4, let's say c takes d5. If, for example, white goes for king g6 here, then it's rook f6. And if white takes here, Compy suggested even rook f8 is slightly better for black. But I can understand that, because the king is actually very badly placed there on g7, is always under some mates, so certainly white is not risking to win this. Black will just pick up all the pawns g2, h4, and the e3 weaknesses there, so it's kind of tricky for white. Probably still close to equality, but still some problems for white. So after rook f5 here, they should go for king g4. C takes d5, rook f1, rook ef8, rook takes, rook c2, rook f7, maybe some h5, e5. Kind of drawish. I mean, yeah, nobody's risking that much, but nothing special. So I saw that rook f1 is just normal, doesn't change much here. So I went rook f1. Already rook takes f1 and c5 was possible, just trying to attack the center immediately. Instead he went also equal after c5. Yeah, just white is not in a hurry there. After c5 they can just go even king g4, Compy says, one of the ways, or rook d1 as well. Yeah, just protecting all the structure. It's fine for both. So after rook f1, he went rook e f8, rook f6, and now g takes f6. And all this stuff is trying to, I mean, starts to be complicated because all these pawns can move. And it will be nasty because I was having kind of maybe 10 or 15 seconds here for each move, so it's kind of unpleasant. So I went, of course, here because if I could go there, let's say it's king e7 or something at minimum, I think. So after, yeah, king e7. Actually, it was possible, but c takes d5, rook g8, h7, some rook g4, for example, picking everything there, so just fine. Yeah. Instead I went king f4, f5, trying to mate me after rook g8. For example, if you go rook h1, you're mated after rook g8, and the rook comes to g4 with the mate. So rook g1 is the only way to protect against this, and play g4 after rook f8. So rook g1. He would, I mean, he could go c5 here. Maybe still kind of drawish as well. Close to it at least. It's around equality, so I think c5 was a viable option. Also, what he went in the game, I think, is not that bad. So he went rook g8. No, sorry, he went rook h8. Yeah, he went rook h8 because otherwise g4. So g3, rook g8. We're transposing. If black goes rook h7, for example, they're in kind of zugzwang because of some kind of things like this. Maybe takes king g5, king e7, h5. Yeah. Rook g7, now even this. Because, I mean, yeah, it looks scary, but after king f6, threatening the mate, I'll just go g4. And don't forget that I have the passer there on h. I mean, once it moves, it becomes a real threat to black's position, because I'll pick all these pawns very fast. We'll pick them up very fast with the king. So it's very dangerous as well. So after this, he went rook g8. g4. f takes. Now, maybe it's correct to play c takes d5 already to determine the structure here. And after e takes e takes h5, rook f8, king g5, rook g8, some king f5, rook f8, king g6. But it doesn't change much because rook g8, I mean, just a draw, I guess. Nothing special. So maybe it was a simpler way, but I was trying to play on still. So h5, rook f8, king g3. And here, of course, the best way for black would be to play e5. Completely equal after this. Just, you know, white can take, play rook d1, king c3, h7, e3, rook d7. And position is drawish because the white pawn is very far advanced and black is unable to make anything out of their pawn up. So king g3, instead of e5, he starts to play a bit dangerously here. He goes for rook f3, king g4, rook e3, and now h6. The pawn moves closer to the winning square h8, and rook f3, of course, to protect against this. h7, rook f8, king h5, now threatening rook g8, rook h8, king h6, c5. Yeah, d takes c5, and now he makes kind of mistake in a practical view. I would say that it's a mistake because king c5 was much easier here to make a draw. C takes, e takes, rook g8, rook h7, king h7, e3, king g6. Yeah, so let's go there. King d4, rook e8, king d3, king f5, e2, rook e5. Oh, maybe not king f5. Yeah, maybe rook e5 maybe instead. So possible. Rook e5. d4, king e5, e2, rook e4, king c3 is nice here, rook e2, d3, and after this, like it's simply saving the day. Nothing works. b3, king c2, and d2. Black is promoting to the queen. White should give up the rook, and the king will come back to pick up the b3, a4. White will pick up the b6 and b7. We'll end in a draw. Yeah, but of course not so easy to calculate. Also, he had seconds here. So instead of c5, instead of king takes c5, he went b takes c5, c takes, e takes, rook g8. White should as soon as possible take the rook, because of course the pawns, once they will move d4 e3, can end up very badly in this. So takes, king e5 was the last way to make a draw here. A very strong move, actually, very nice one, activating the king. King g6, king f4, rook f8, king g3, and let's say rook e8, just king f2, and the position is equal. There is kind of line interesting here, is if white goes rook e7, let's say, rook b8, then e3, for example, rook b7, d4, rook f7, king g1. Black is close to promoting the pawn, one of the pawns. So rook e7, king f2, and the threat is here, and the draw is almost there. For example, if white tries to play a5, just e2, a6, d3, a7, d2, a8 queen, and e1 queen. And in fact, as beautiful as it is, there is no way to stop d1 queening. So the way to play is queen f8, king g2, takes, queen c5, queen b1, and take b3. Black is completely fine. Okay, it's too far, it's too complicated, not easy to see. And of course, this on the seconds, maybe in 2 hours game, of course, it would be maybe possible to calculate this. But in a classical game, yeah. But here, after this, Maxim went d4, and this is a losing move. Take a bit of your time to realize what you will do. What would you do here? Of course, in the chess schools and in a classical way of thinking about such positions, it's easier to find the move in general. Is that certainly you have to bring your king, but I didn't have time to analyze fast this e3 d3, what is going on there. But king g6, of course, is the winning move, and e3, rook e8, king d5, king f5, just resigns. Because after this I can just go, for example, rook e5 and take c4. White is winning. But this is really, it's a bad miss. It's a really bad miss. When now I'm looking at the positions, it's so bad miss, Yeah, I was sure I have to stop the pawns with rook e8. And I forgot completely. I thought it's more or less the same. If black just goes this, I go this. Why not this? But I forgot completely about d3, which is an important move, of course, here. And now it's a draw. King g6, king d7 was played in the game. Rook e5 cannot take and play d2. There is no check from d4. So king d6, maybe king c6. Okay, he went king c6 in the game. Rook e6, king d5, rook e7. No, I went rook e8. Okay, the same, more or less. Yeah, rook e8, king d4, king f5, d2, rook d8, king e3. Just ends in a draw. I went a5, just for fun, more or less. This d1. There is no way to move the king to c5 faster than black takes b3. So this takes this, and this. The draw was agreed, of course. I mean, only kings left. Automatic draw. So what are the conclusions of this game? Don't play the opening, of course, in this manner. In general, if you want to try for an advantage, you should study the main lines and play them, and try to find ideas there and prepare them, and kind of press your opponents. It's not so easy on the top level, especially, to play something out of fashion, or some kind of tricky stuff. It's not always working, especially in the classical games, but in rapids sometimes it works, like a surprise effect and maybe some tricky stuff that you have prepared. But generally, of course, playing some kind of awkward lines where black can have a normal development without really finding a lot of tricks is not a favorable option, and it's kind of desperado after losing the first game. But in general, it just turned to be a very good endgame. So I think that this is very instructive, where you have to just bring the king, and I mean, you shouldn't think too much ahead of the time there, and just understand that the pawns are not moving so fast that you can't ever catch them and touch them fast with your pieces, like this rook e8 and stuff. So I was just kind of worried about this e3 d3, and especially I had like 5 7 3 or whatever seconds, and it was complicated, and the whole game, of course, I had to calculate a lot as well, and him as well. So this miss, the bad miss at the end, was an happy moment after losing the first game. So I'll be back with the third game next, and certainly thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and don't play the opening the way I played it here, and try to prepare better against the Slav. And please subscribe, hit the bell, and comment, because I need your comments to be sure to make some other stuff as well, and to see if you like the board as well that I used today for the analysis. So the schedule of the things I'll do now. And thank you for staying with me. Until the next video. Bye bye.